With everything going on, you know I gotta hit you with the disclaimers. So, you know how this goes. Question everything. You should. And remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Let's get to it.
The Trump administration has conducted an unprecedented purge at the top levels of the FBI. Unprecedented. Administration officials have forced out all 6 of the FBI's most senior executives and multiple heads of various FBI field offices across the country, according to current and former FBI officials who spoke with NBC News. This is hostile takeover of federal law enforcement. There's no other way to call it. Included the high-profile leader of the Washington, D.C. field office, which was involved in the prosecutions of President Donald Trump. The Department of Justice also fired multiple federal prosecutors who conducted the criminal investigation of January 6 rioters, according to sources. Now, just to take a moment, a step back, and I know there's a lot of news you are consuming right now, but these are officials, these are not political officials. These are career law enforcement officials. Most of whom, all of whom, have worked under multiple Democratic and Republican administrations. They are not political appointees. The Trump administration has conducted.
And the question is, are you destroying that institution's integrity when you do this? Because the message you're sending is, if you don't agree or go along with my administration or my message or what I'm doing or what I got going on or my movement, then this will happen to you too. So anybody taking these positions or remaining in these positions will always have that in the back of their brain. And is that the way we want them to operate? Is the question going forward.
Now that we are over 2 weeks into the second Trump term, the Wall Street Journal reporting that the administration, the CIA, has just offered buyouts to the entire workforce at the CIA. What the reporting says is that employees were offered 8 months of pay and benefits if they leave the intelligence agency. Part of Trump's efforts to downsize the government, even the CIA, and put more people in these positions who are closely aligned with his view. I'm joined tonight by the veteran journalist, Garrett Graff. Garrett, on this, I mean, what do you make of this? What was your initial reaction to this report from the Wall Street Journal?
I mean, it is as shocking as any other development that we are living through right now. One of the things I think is one of the only truths that we have in the Trump era is the inconsistency of the logical consistency of one announcement to another. For a lot of reasons, you could imagine that on the same night that you are announcing that the U.S. might take over Gaza, you would not want to gut the intelligence agencies that help us understand that part of the world and mitigate risks to the United States here and abroad, on the same day that you are also looking at neutering the FBI's entire counterterrorism program here at the homeland. That, for instance, some of these decisions in one category might have downside risks in another.
Can I ask you about part of this? Because a CIA spokesperson said that this move was part of an effort to infuse the agency with renewed energy, as they put it. And they also said that Trump's CIA will have a greater focus on the Western Hemisphere, targeting countries not traditionally considered adversaries of the United States, saying, for example, they could use the CIA to use espionage to give Trump more leverage in his trade negotiations, potentially spying on Mexico's government amid the ongoing spat.
I think quotes like that show how little any of the people involved in this actually understand the mission of any of these federal agencies. That the CIA and other intelligence agencies within the United States, like the part and parcel, the opening ante of what they do is help inform the president's negotiations with foreign leaders. I mean, this goes all the way back to, the Snowden revelations, where we were monitoring Angela Merkel's cell phone.
I'm sorry. The conspiracy theorist in me is just wanting to break out and say, they also go rogue. We've known the CIA to go rogue, do their own thing without the president's knowledge of what's going on. But I have to constantly submerge that because these are also human beings that will be placed out of work, essentially. You know what I mean? So that the human side of me is like, bro, my heart goes out. And so it's hard keeping that little conspiracy theorist though at bay.
Like this is some of the most basic work that the CIA is already doing, and I can tell you, because I have spoken to former officers who are involved in this, but like that's exactly the type of work that the CIA is already doing.
Which Trump knows about because he brought up the Merkel surveillance to her face at a press conference in his first term. I remember it in the East Room where he was today. What happens if everyone at the CIA takes this buyout? Because we heard today, I think it was 20,000 people in the federal workforce had already taken these offers of buyouts. If the entire CIA, let's just say, for example, that they did, what does that look like tomorrow?
I mean, nothing good for the United States, and that's true, you know, at any one of these agencies. These workplaces, I think, I think part of the challenge of this is understanding that the goal here is just the chaos and the wreckage. That I don't think that there is any grand plan beyond these buyouts. It's certainly not a cost-cutting measure to throw away decades of experience and millions of dollars in training that we have invested in these workforces. But any one of these federal agencies is like any other workplace. There's a very small number of people on whom sort of the whole operation lies. I mean, the people who know the institutional history, the people who understand how the systems and the operations work. And when those people leave, the whole thing seizes up.
Yeah, and we're already just talking in the last segment about FBI workers who are suing the government because they feel like they're being unfairly targeted and about to have a mass purge. Cash Patel, as we're watching, basically everyone Trump is lined up on Capitol Hill get confirmed, despite initially thinking maybe they all wouldn't. What does that look like, do you think, when Cash Patel takes over the FBI? If he is confirmed?
Yeah, I think the challenge is I've covered the FBI for almost 20 years at this point. The FBI that I have covered my entire reporting career, the FBI that has existed since the day that J. Edgar Hoover died in May 1972, is already over. That institution is already dead. And we are arguing right now over the wreckage of what it might be when it is rebuilt at some point in the future. And I think that this is...
But what does it look like for the next 4 years? I mean, they very clearly have plans that are being... if you don't like Trump and you're watching this is not the chaos of round one in these initial weeks. Like, we're just in the third week now, 2 weeks in. They're well executed, and they are carrying out exactly what they said they were going to do. So what does that actually look like, do you think?
Let me give you two very specific examples. It looks like 9/11, and it looks like corruption. It looks like 9/11 because the FBI that is being neutered right now, particularly the agents working on domestic terror and foreign terror involved in these January 6th prosecutions, are exactly the people tasked day in, day out with preventing the next 9/11.
That's a remarkable analysis.
That's scary. There's no other way to put that. That is scary. And then there's no communication to the people as to say who's going in those positions. We don't know who or what. That's when he made that, I ain't gonna lie, when he made that comparison to 9/11, the hairs on my arm stood up.
To see what that could look like. Garrett Kraft, obviously we'll stay in touch with you on this as we do see what that looks like as it takes shape.
Whether it's counterterrorism, great power competition, you name it, from head to toe, those two organizations are what protect America, along with the Department of Defense. Eroding the workforce or really getting after the morale and really empowerment of the workforce is going to have a direct impact on national security at every level.
So, Mark Preston, I think that there is some willingness from American voters to take a look at the federal government generally and say, hey, like, perhaps we can do more with less. Perhaps we're spending too much. The bureaucracy is bloated. But I'm thinking about, like, the Moscow station chief of the CIA getting an email saying you can take a buyout. I mean, it seems like this is considerably different than some of those other potential options. I mean, what is the impact?
Yeah, because it's different because that Moscow bureau chief has probably been in the service for 25 years and has probably spent most of his or her life overseas, probably in Russia or in the vicinity, so has that capabilities. You know, it's interesting that you bring this up. I remember a few years back where there was concern that the United States had lost the ability now to understand what was going on in in what was the Eastern Bloc, which is now Russia and what have you, because the focus had been done so much on terrorism that there hadn't been enough boots on the ground and a focus on what was happening in Russia and what was happening in China. Now you're talking about even further depleting the force that we have currently out there. We should be out there trying to get people to come into the CIA, to get people to come into the FBI, especially at this time.
Yeah, it just makes us.
See, we always looked at these positions as like prestigious positions, meaning these people who hold these positions for 20 and 30 years, you know what I mean? They made it, they got to these positions, and we know they're safe, and we strive to be there one day. What this is showing you is that no position is safe. You need to do your own thing. Something to where somebody can't come in and say, you know what? We no longer need your services. We no longer need you. And now you're in limbo. Like, if this isn't a reminder of the to you, me, everybody to do their own thing, I don't know what will let people know.
Less safe, bottom line. I mean, I think that's, for a lot of Americans, they're probably seeing these headlines and saying, oh, well, good, he's going in there and shaking things up. But I do think we have to bring it back to, but it makes you less safe. And God forbid, some of our, people in the CIA with the experience, the expertise, the insight. Like, think about if the folks at the NTSB would have taken the buyout the week before the crash that we just had in D.C., who would have been doing the investigation? I mean,
and let's think for a second. Yeah, no, sorry, finish.
Just one last thing. The other point I would make, too, is some of those individuals from time to time, you will find them in USAID projects. That's the other reason why getting rid of you. If you've ever watched a spy show, and having been on many of those trips where I was told, just they're coming with us to this site. Okay, fine, there they are. So point being, it makes us less safe. It's stupid. There's one way to do this that would have been smart, that probably would have also saved us money, but kept us safe and not created so much chaos and pain. But the chaos and the pain is part of the point.
Well, and when you think about, and anyone who has watched a spy show, if you understand anything about how it works, Elliot, is that it is a question of building relationships, right? So if you are a CIA operation, if you're in the Directorate of Operations, not paramilitary necessarily, but, someone whose job it is to have cover at USAID or at the State Department, you are building relationships with assets in the country that you are then using to get information to protect Americans at home from things like another 9/11, right? Yep. And somebody taking that buyout does material damage in that suddenly it's not just the expertise and the things in their head, it's the little relationships that they have to gather information.
Absolutely, and having not just watched spy shows, but worked very closely with the FBI, which is a counter-terror organization. People are getting wrapped up in this idea of woke stuff at Donald Trump's house. No, the FBI is the only law enforcement entity that is both a counter-terror and a law enforcement body, right? And these are folks that are spending their careers across presidential administrations, building these relationships overseas to keep Americans safe. When you begin trying to root out this perceived political bias, you're not just making Americans safe, you're actually jeopardizing the free speech rights of those people that work there. They are...
That's interesting to hear that even those jobs, as important as they are similar to the jobs that we hold. You ever work somewhere and that person that was there when you got there, the senior person that does more than the boss knows, goes above and beyond and does more than their job description says they do, and then they fire them and you're like, whoa, who's gonna do such and such? That person is so important to our day-to-day things that we do. Like, they don't even know what they lost. It's the little things that they do that's not even required in their job that keep us going throughout the day. And they let that person go. It sounds so similar when they talked about the relationships that people in the CIA or FBI have and different things that they do that shows the, like, that was just eye-opening for me to hear that.
you are punishing them for this perceived bias that doesn't exist. It's an overwhelmingly right-leaning workforce. Like, and I know this having worked there. So this idea, these things all sound great on bumper stickers and talking points, but they're just not real and are going to make Americans less safe.
And I do wonder too, with something like the CIA, you know, there are plenty of other departments in the government where if you ask people, do we have too many people working there? People might say, yes, that can be right-sized or whatever corporate layoff speak you want to use. But I think for something like the CIA, you then, if you're going to let go a lot of people, you need to have a clear plan for how you're going to recruit new people in to build those relationships. You've seen Pete Hegseth at the Department of Defense making a big deal over the last 48 hours about, look, here's our new ad campaign to recruit people to the Army. We're going to get people in. Haven't necessarily heard anything like that about, say, the FBI, the CIA. And I think that's where you start going, well, wait a minute, is the plan just to eliminate these people or is it to replace them with a new crop? Like, what does that even look like?
Yeah, really quick. No,
it's the same thing I was saying about the Department of Education. Okay, you're saying you're going to get what is going in place of it is the question. I think there's a lack of communication and transparency that the people aren't seeing.
Just to get the background checks for people, to get them up to speed to be able to do the job. Number one, find people who you can get the requisite clearances to be able to handle this type of sensitive work, and get them hired and get them screened can be months. And so the idea that you're just going to start firing people and bringing some set of folks on is incredibly difficult, and people don't really have that in their heads.
Bro, if you got somebody, a young one in your house, show them that clip. Show them this video and let them know. Let's try to get them on a different path, okay, in a different career, so this doesn't happen to them, or they have a better chance of it not happening. Because again, no position is really safe at this point, is what we're seeing. So encourage them to have their own, do their own thing. You know, I know it's hard for small businesses out here. It's hard for anyone. So at this point, you're just trying to survive. But show them that, though, man.
How did eating Flamin' Hot Cheetos lead to a teenager losing an organ? In 2018, a Tennessee teenager was enjoying a bag of Flamin' Hot Cheetos when she suddenly felt sick to her stomach. She was rushed to the hospital and ended up having her gallbladder removed. The teen estimates that she was eating not one, not two, not three, but 4 big bags of hot chips such as Takis or Flamin' Hot Cheetos per week, which makes my stomach hurt just thinking about. While there are many factors that contributed to her gallbladder,
I mean, that's not hard to do. When I think back to when I was on my hot Cheetos kick, them things are good. And one thing they know how to do is make them taste good. They good. So I could have crushed 4 bags. I could see that.
Being removed, eating the hot chips definitely did not help. Dr. Carrie Cavender, a gastroenterologist at Le Bonheur Children's Hospital, estimates that they are seeing around 100 kids a month coming in for stomach issues related to eating ultra-spicy snacks. Some of the most common things that they're seeing are gastritis and ulcers, which are both things that you want to avoid. A pediatrician named Dr. Yvonne Juarez has also spoken out about this issue. She told the Fresno Bee in 2012 that eating flamin' hot snacks can up the stomach's acidity, leading to aches. She was quoted as saying, "I've had patients go to the ER because of it. It's insane, absolutely insane."
Now a new alarming study says water bottles are filled with hundreds of thousands of microplastics. These microscopic particles are small enough to enter the human bloodstream.
Tiny disruptors to our bodies may be in the water we drink because of what the water is in. Plastic. Columbia and Rutgers University researchers say they tested 3 popular brands of bottled water sold in the United States. They found, using laser technology, the average liter of a bottle of water has nearly 250,000 invisible nanoplastics. The study's lead author says That is 10 to 100 times more than previously believed. Jan said nanoplastics are believed to be more toxic since their smaller size makes them easier to get into our bloodstream and reach our vital organs. Dr. Kimberly Petrick from Kaiser in Santa Monica reiterated the important distinction.
Because they're so teeny, they might migrate through tissues of our digestive tract, lungs, and into our bloodstream.
Doctors say these plastics are estrogenics. They are omnipotent and potentially harmful.
Long term, it may contribute to diabetes, obesity, cancer, and fertility problems.
The study did not name which water bottle companies were examined, though Chan said they were sold at Walmart. For now, whether that's a bottle in the car or a microwave meal, doctors recommend we don't consume things, water or food, that have come in contact with hot plastic.
Now a new alarming...
I don't know either, y'all. Like, at this point, like, what do you do? I mean, this isn't the first time we've heard something about bottled water, you know? But you look at that water that's in, that's not in a bottle form, or you can get actually glad, like, that stuff is expensive. Expensive. So how do we do the right thing at a lower cost is the question. And I know that's hard to do in this inflationary environment right now. So it's just like what do you do?
New this morning, Pennsylvania State Police are scrambling to crack the case of a massive egg heist. The thieves hatched a plot to steal 100,000 eggs from the back of a trailer at Pete and Jerry's Organics in Greencastle, Franklin County on Saturday night. That's near Gettysburg. Police say the stolen eggs are worth about $40,000. That's an expensive omelet. Of course, this crime is coming amid soaring egg prices given the bird flu outbreaks across the country. New this morning, Pennsylvania.
I know you all seen the movies, like the mob movies, where they hit these trucks and stuff, and normally they're carrying clothes or electronics or something like that. Now egg drivers gotta be worried. That I never thought I'd see the day. Never. Which one of y'all snitched, by the way? Which one of y'all did it? Which one of y'all did it? Who told them that dude was driving? Because it clearly don't say eggs on the trailer. Which one of y'all snitched? That was an inside job.
California has just made it a law that baby food companies have to post their heavy metal results from their food on their labels. So there will be a QR code that you scan, and that will test all the metals that are found in our baby's food. Every state should be doing this, but shout out to California for keeping our babies safe. And hopefully this will open up a lot of your guys' eyes on what they actually put in our babies' food. And my crunchy moms are so crunchy.
No, I wanted to use your comment. I didn't know we were hated like this. We are overworked, understaffed, and treated poorly. And people are really supporting thousands of people losing their jobs. No, amen. And I wanted to use your comment because I was just talking to a colleague of mine that works at a different federal agency, and she was saying how she had a conversation with someone, and it was like, well, y'all do need to get back to work because my child support payments aren't getting processed. She said, ma'am, we don't work for child support. That is a state agency. So a lot of them, like I said in the actual video, are very uneducated and they don't know what we do, when in reality, we keep this going. And like you said, most of the times, understaffed, underpaid. Like, I don't think they realize, like, in order to get raises, we have to apply for the next grade level, meaning we have to re-interview every single time unless you're at an agency where they can bypass that. I don't think they realize that. The only raises we get is a step increase in the locality if we get it from the president, which 9 times out of 10 is only like $40. What the fuck is that? And it's not to sound ungrateful, but it's like, let's be so for real right now. A lot of people protect and serve in the federal government because they love what they do. Like for me, I love my job's mission and I love what we do. So it's really a shame that many people look down on us. And like you said, they are so happy that people are being laid off, which I don't understand why you're excited about that, because everything, I just said this on my Instagram, everything has a cause and effect. So if you think federal agencies are being shut down, right? Where do you think in your state, if you get any of that money, those jobs are going to be affected at the state level too? And it's not all about the Department of Education. some of these agencies that are getting shut down or forcing people to be on this administrative leave, it messes with people at the state level as well. So more people, not even on the federal level, are going to lose their job. It's really a shame. It really is. Like I said, people's empathy is out the window because it doesn't affect them yet, but it will, especially if they do dismantle the Department of Education. Many people get so much services at the state level from these federal funds, which is going to be insanity, especially if you don't live in a state like a blue state that does take care of education. A lot of these red states are going to be like screwed. A lot of these black and brown children are going to be screwed because of what their states decided to vote for, which is a crock of bull. And Ilana is the president. Orange Man is not. So we're and it's like you said, it's really sad. And like I was just saying this on my Facebook, like delete or remove anybody that is going against the grain, because they may not understand it right now, but they will. They will. When all of this hit that state level, oh, they're going to be crying because so many states get federal funds, like I said, and it's really a shame. Child, all I can do is continue to say prayers for us and don't take that motherfucking buyout. Like, stand firm. No, I told my husband, they going to have to come pick my ass up, ho, because I ain't going nowhere. 17 years in this, where you think I'm going? I ain't going nowhere. I don't care how nobody feel. Like, and most of the times it's the people uneducated that don't know exactly what the they're talking about, because why? They could never get in the federal government, or they probably tried to get in the federal government and didn't get hired. But that's not the way to go about it, to try to make other people's lives miserable, because karma spins. It may not be now, but it's going to come back. Whoo, child. No, I wanted to.
Listen, bro, I was always raised like that. You never laugh at somebody's misfortune or what they going through. I don't play with that type of karma. Because when it spin the block, you're going to be one of the first ones that remember. And it's going to come right at you. Like, I don't do that. It just ain't right. It don't, like, nah, man. How you going to laugh or kiki at somebody's downfall or something happened to somebody, bro? That ain't cool. I don't respect that at all. Bro, I know everybody want to be like, yo, fam, hold the camera still, but I thought about that too. Like, in those situations, I ain't gonna lie, my nerves would be bad too. My nerves would be super shot, so you might get that same video from me. Super shaky.
I saw something weird in the sky last night. I'm in North Carolina. I'm gonna show you. Let me know if you have seen this. Or let me know what it is. It is not the moon. I can guarantee you that. And I wish I would have taken better footage. Like, I honestly just thought it was a weird plane, or like one of those drone things, but the moon was like over here, and the thing I saw was here. It was 100% not the moon. So let me show you really quick, and then I'll tell you the story. So this is the first picture I took, and again, like, it gets clearer and clearer. But when I first saw this like flashing light, it was like really cloudy, and this is like the cloud aura around it that I was seeing, and I was like, what is that? And then it started moving, and it was moving so fast, y'all, that I couldn't even get like a good video. Like, it was moving past all my frames. So then I just started going ham with taking photos. It is a perfect circle. What is that? You cannot tell me that's a plane. And this is another one. What is that, you guys? So we were outside, me and my daughter, she was running her laps, and that's when we saw this. And this thing was zooming. At first it was like going kind of slow, then it started zooming fast. And like this little circle part was like really like cloudy looking, like from your naked eye when you're looking at the sky. And I was like, I've never seen clouds like that around a plane. Like, what is that? And it started moving so fast. And then by the time like we got my other kid out there, it was completely gone, like disappeared, gone. So tell me what that is, please. Also, I have an S24 Ultra. It takes amazing photos. My camera was acting up when I was zooming in. Like, it was like blacking out. It was glitching like no tomorrow. It's never done that. I had this phone for a year now. And when I was taking videos to like get really, really close up on it, it was so hard to catch because like it was zooming that fast. Like it was just going out of each and every frame by the time I would get, you know, the zoom all the way up there. So let me know. What is this? Have you guys seen this? I saw something weird in the...
So that answers our question about everybody saying, you know, oh, with all of these great phones that people have, why is the quality so bad? Huh? And maybe they making our phones that way. Who knows? Something's going on. They scrambling our phones where we're not being able to get good picture or video.
An update on my fraud case. All of my money is back and I feel like I can breathe again. I spoke with BMO Fraud and they confirmed that my case was resolved and all of the money, every penny, was back in my account. So I ran to my branch and they verified the exact same thing. So I am so grateful. Thank you, BMO, for taking my case, for resolving it so quickly, for retrieving everything I lost. But thank you to you guys. 5 million of you saw my story and talked about it and shared it and provided advice. And I know that not only did that help me, but that's going to help other people that are in this situation or will be in this situation, unfortunately. So thank you so much for helping people be made aware and be vigilant and be careful. I'm going to post a video on what to do if you do find yourself, God forbid, in this situation. So keep your eye out for that. But again, I'm grateful to you guys. My family is grateful. Thank you. An update on...
Salute to her, man. I'm so glad that happened. If y'all haven't been following her, I think the last 2 videos I've posted what happened, and then she was updating each time of what was going on with her case and her situation and that scam that happened to her. I was going to suggest that too, like maybe she should do a video, but I'm glad she said she's going to do it and break down all the steps so that everybody can know in the event of a situation like this happening, the step-by-step process you would have to go through and the time that it may take for you to get it, and that there's hope that you could actually get your money back, which is the most important thing. Salute to her.